Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us begin with the headlines. Health Minister clarifies centre is not trying to scrap common medical entrance test NEET. This after Cabinet gives nod to ordinance keeping state boards out of the ambit of NEET for a year. Left ends suspense. Pinera Vidyan announced new Chief Minister of Kerala, Sarbananda Sonowal, to take oath on 24th of May. Anti-terrorism court in Pakistan rules LET commander Zakir Rahman Lakhvi and 6 others to be charged with abetment to murder for killing 166 people in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. Pakistan formally applies for membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. Move comes after China objects to India's membership over not being signatory to Non-Proliferation Treaty. India dismisses argument. And leaked data indicates there was smoke on EgyptAir jet before it crashed. Experts not ruling out use of flammable device as France and Egypt jointly investigate disappearance. Well, our top focus, Health Minister JP Nadu has rubbished reports suggesting that the centre is trying to scrap NEET. Now, the clarification comes after the Cabinet gave its nod for an ordinance relating to this whole national medical entrance test, calling it baseless. Nadu further added that a foolproof arrangement will be finalized in a couple of days to address concerns of all. Now, under mounting pressure from several states, the Cabinet early on Friday gave its nod for promulgation of an ordinance to keep state boards out of the ambit of the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test or NEET. Now, it is the uniform entrance exam for admissions to medical and dental colleges. The ordinance, which was cleared, is aimed at partially overturning a Supreme Court verdict which said that all government colleges, deemed universities as well as private medical colleges would be covered under NEET.
कहा गया है कि नेशनल एलिजिबिलिटी एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन टेस्ट को कहीं न कहीं केंद्र सरकार किसी ऑर्डिनेंस के तहत नीट को समाप्त करने की कोशिश कर रही है। यह बिल्कुल बेबुनियाद है, इसमें कोई भी तथ्य नहीं है। We are consulting and we are seeing to it that a foolproof arrangement is made, and latest by tomorrow or day after tomorrow we will be coming to a conclusion, which I'll be coming out with details to all of you accordingly.
The government on Friday approved an ordinance to keep state boards out of the Uniform Medical Entrance Examination NEET or NEET for one academic year.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट और हमारे मंतव्य में कोई अंतर नहीं है। हमने ही आग्रह किया, उनका फैसला आया है, हम उस पर अग्रसर हैं। जो कुछ ऑपरेशनल पॉइंट्स हैं उनके बारे में हम कैसे उसको एड्रेस कर सकें, इसकी हम चिंता कर रहे हैं।
The executive order partially overturns the Supreme Court verdict that said all government colleges, deemed universities and private medical colleges will be covered under NEET. There were mixed reactions to the move.
Very happy that the Central Cabinet, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, has taken a decision to promulgate ordinance to postpone the NEET exam by 1 year.
बहुत ही दुखद है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को इस तरह से रोकना। तरह तरह के आरोप हैं कि मेडिकल एजुकेशन को बिल्कुल बेचा जा रहा है, और यहाँ तक भी कहा जाता है कि 20,000 करोड़ रुपए एडमिशन में खर्च होते हैं हर साल, और लाखों रुपए का एडमिशन में लिए जाते हैं। तो ये तो बिजनेस को प्रमोशन दे रहे हैं।
Ordinance is, in my opinion, is against the interest of the medical education. It is against the interest of a student. It is against the interest of country, and it is also against the law of the land. That is the order passed by the Honorable Supreme Court. Completely U-turn has been taken. Its statements have also come out in support of the NEET by Honorable Minister of Health, and suddenly U-turn has been taken in the name or I will say in the pretext of the interest of a student.
Nearly 6.5 lakh students have already sat for the first phase of NEET held on 1st of May. The next phase of the exam is scheduled for 24th of July. But once the ordinance is issued, students of state government boards will not have to sit for NEET on 24th of July. The government, however, clarified that all students will have to become part of the uniform entrance exam for the next academic session.
National Eligibility and Entrance Test, NEET, which was espoused by the Congress government in 2010 and has been a subject matter of litigation till Supreme Court decided it, is being sought to be deferred by way of ordinance. Who is Modi government serving? Are they serving the interest of private medical colleges who hold 100 examinations across India for which students spend crores of rupees?
Many state governments flagged the problems of related to language and syllabus for students at a recent health ministers' conference. They claimed that students affiliated to state boards were finding it tough to appear for the uniform test so soon. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Centre's ordinance on NEET has evoked mixed responses. Let's listen into some more reactions.
The ordinance is, in my opinion, is against the interest of the medical education. It is against the interest of a student. It is against the interest of country. And before the Honorable Supreme Court also, Government of India has taken the stand that it wants to hold the NEET for this year. And thereafter, completely U-turn has been taken.
I'm really happy by the ordinance that is passed, and I hope the ordinance is not repealed in any way or changed in any way. And it's good that the CET is there for this year at least, because we had done a lot of work for one whole year, and in 70 days doing 2 years of work is not feasible at all.
After this ordinance, I'm really relieved. I'm happy that we will be judged and there's justice for us. And I want to thank everyone who has helped us and helped in this situation.
Oh, absolutely, we are relieved about this. You know, Government of Maharashtra has conducted a test on 5th May, and with this decision, it seems that it's going to be valid at least for the government medical colleges.
And now time to get you some news related to the recently held assembly elections. Well, the CPM has officially announced the name of its veteran leader and Politburo member Pinera Vidyan as the new Chief Minister of Kerala, sidelining former Chief Minister V.S. Achyutanandan. Now, Vidyan will take oath along with his cabinet on 25th of May. The decision to nominate a 72-year-old Vidyan was taken at the Kerala CPM office in Thiruvananthapuram on Friday. The CPM Secretariat and party's Kerala committee met in the presence of General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri to decide the chief ministerial candidate. Now, Vidyan is the only Politburo member who was elected to the assembly this time. He will be the 22nd chief minister of the state of Kerala. 92-year-old former chief minister V.S. Achyutanandan was hoping for a second term, but the party instead chose Vidyan. Meanwhile, Kerala Chief Minister Oommen Chandy also resigned from the post after the defeat of Congress-led UDF in the assembly elections. Chandy submitted his resignation to Governor P. Sathasivam. The UDF, remember, had got only 47 seats against 91 seats won by LDF in the recently concluded assembly polls.
We have come to the decision today in the meeting unanimously that Comrade Pinera Vidyan will be proposed as the leader of the LDF legislature party. And as far as Comrade VS is concerned, we would like to say that as the veteran leader, the only parallel I can draw in the international communist movement is that Comrade VS is like Fidel Castro for Kerala, like Fidel is for Cuba today, advising, guiding and inspiring. Comrade VS will continue to play that role.
I wish all the success for the new government, and from the opposition side, from the UDF side, we will give all practical help to the new government for the welfare of the development of our state.
News from the northeastern state of Assam, and after a big win, now BJP's chief ministerial candidate Sarbananda Sonowal will take oath on 24th of May. The swearing in will be held in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Khanapara field in Guwahati. Sonowal also met his party's newly elected MLAs in Guwahati. The BJP, remember, fought the assembly elections forming alliances with Assam Gun Parishad as well as the Bodo People's Front. Leading the alliance, the BJP won 60 seats on its own in the 126-member House. Its ally, the AGP, won 14 seats, while the BPF bagged 12 seats.
24 तारीख को शपथ ग्रहण समारोह होगा। स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री उपस्थित रहेंगे और भी अनेक राष्ट्रीय और देश के अनेक राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्री वगैरह शपथ ग्रहण में आने वाले हैं। एक अच्छी शासन असम को जरूरत थी। जनता ने बहुत दिल खोलकर मैंडेट देकर भाजपा लेड अलायंस को यह मैंडेट दिया है, सरकार बनाने का एक संकल्प दिया है।
And on to other states where the assembly polls were held. Well, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee met her party's newly elected MLAs at her residence in Kolkata on Friday. She was also, remember, elected as the party's legislature chief and will take oath as the Chief Minister on 27th of May. Mamata led her party to a landslide victory of 210 seats in a House of 294, 15 seats more than what the TMC had won in 2011. The TMC got a whopping close to 45% vote share in these elections. The extent of a victory also suggested that the recent corruption scandal allegations as well as the Kolkata flyover tragedy during the elections has had no impact. The TMC took all the 11 seats in Kolkata, including Jora Sanko, the constituency where the flyover had collapsed.
Well, Mamata Banerjee will take over as Chief Minister. She will set the further agenda. Current agenda is development, development, development. People have voted for development. This is a history that has never been seen before since 1956.
For more than 34 years, there was no government in the state of West Bengal and there was no development. But Mamata Banerjee, in her short tenure of the first term, for nearly 4.5 years, has developed Bengal into resurgent state. And we are expecting this to become one of the leading states of the country. And the people have realized it because they have themselves realized the development in their lives, the law and order restoration, the peace process. And they have blessed us. The whole credit goes to the people of Bengal.
News from Tamil Nadu. And after creating history by winning the assembly elections for the second term in a row, now Chief Minister Jayalalithaa took out a victory march in Chennai on Friday. Jaya garlanded MGR's statue and thanked her supporters. The AIADMK Legislative Party also met in Chennai and elected Amma as the legislature party leader. In Thursday's result, the AIADMK bagged 134 seats out of 232 assembly constituencies, while the DMK that had won 89 seats, the Congress bagged 8. And IUML got only 1 seat. Now, Jaya will be sworn in as the Chief Minister for the 6th time, and the oath-taking will take place on Monday. The opposition's attempt to target her as being inaccessible as well as authoritarian failed to dent her image in the wake of a multitude of welfare schemes like the Amma Canteen, Amma Water and Amma Pharmacies, among others. More news from Tamil Nadu. The Election Commission has decided to postpone elections to Arava-Kurichi and Thanjavur Assembly constituencies by 3 more weeks. Well, the polls were originally scheduled to be held on 16th of May along with other constituencies in Tamil Nadu. However, they were deferred to 23rd of May on charges of bribing of voters. Not challenging the decision to hold it on 23rd of May, BJP and PMK had moved the High Court seeking a further postponement of the polling. Now, the Election Commission has made a submission to the High Court about further differing when petitions filed by a BJP candidate contesting in Thanjavur and a PMK candidate of Arava-Kurichi came up for hearing. The Commission said that it will make an assessment of the situation in the 2 constituencies and also consult all the candidates before holding polls here. DMK Chief M. Karunanidhi has meanwhile threatened to launch an agitation if the poll are not held on schedule, alleging that it is a conspiracy against his party. All right, let's move on to some other news. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will undertake a 2-day visit to the US starting 7th of June. The Prime Minister will meet US President Barack Obama during the visit to review the progress made in the key areas of defense, security and energy. Modi is also said to be the 5th Prime Minister of India to address a joint meeting of the US Congress. And interaction with the CEOs of major US companies is also in Modi's itinerary. The visit is expected to highlight the deepening of the US-India relationship in key areas since Obama's visit to the country in 2015. Now, this will be Modi's 4th visit to the United States and 3rd to the White House as Prime Minister. Well, the nation is marking the 25th death anniversary of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Hamid Ansari, Congress President Sonia Gandhi, Party Vice President Rahul Gandhi and former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh were among those dignitaries who paid floral tributes at Veer Bhumi. The Indian Youth Congress is organizing an event, Hum Mein Hai Rajiv, to mark the occasion today. And right now we'll slip into a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
The extra heat which was put in this Earth system, 93% of that heat is stored in the oceans. If we can figure out how we can extract fresh water from the ocean, a lot of our drinking water problems will get solved.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Satish C. Shenoy, Director, National Institute of Ocean Technology, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back after the break. Let's bring you some weather updates. And in the wake of the advancing cyclone Ronu, the Weather Department issued a warning of heavy rains along coastal Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. The cyclone is now moving towards the northeast and is likely to affect Bangladesh and the northeastern region of India as well.
Heavy rains lashed parts of Odisha and coastal Andhra Pradesh for the second day on Friday as Cyclone Ronu in West Central Bay of Bengal moved further northeastwards, retaining its strength as a cyclonic storm. Moving at a fast pace of 25 km per hour, Ronu is likely to move further northeastwards along and off Andhra Pradesh and Odisha coast and intensify into a severe cyclonic storm by Friday night. The cyclone is expected to make landfall over Bangladesh between evening of 21st of May and early morning of May 22nd. The Met Department has issued an alert in at least 12 districts in the coastal, southern and northern regions where heavy to very heavy rainfall is predicted in parts of coastal and central Odisha. 10 teams of the State Disaster Rapid Action Force and fire service personnel have been kept ready. While fishermen were warned against moving into the sea, tourists were also sent away from the seashores in Puri.
छाते का कोई असर नहीं हो रहा है और ऊपर से आपका कुछ साइक्लोन आ रहा है यहाँ पर, उससे वजह से थोड़ा सा डर लग रहा है।
नहाने के लिए तो मैं जा रहा हूँ तो सब हम ब्रिज पे मना कर रहे हैं कि नहीं अभी बहुत ज्यादा अलर्ट है, भारी पानी हो रहा है।
An alert was sounded in coastal Andhra Pradesh where heavy to very heavy rainfall was predicted during the next 24 hours. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu directed officials to open relief camps and evacuate people from vulnerable areas. National and state disaster response teams have also been deployed to deal with any emergencies.
Today morning, at about a distance of 60 kilometers southeast of Visakhapatnam, it is moving in northeasterly direction. It will, under its influence, strong winds of already 100 km/h is likely along north coastal Andhra Pradesh. Heavy rainfall is also likely along the north coastal Andhra Pradesh.
Meanwhile, India rushed 2 naval ships with relief material to Sri Lanka, which has been severely hit by the tropical cyclone Ronu. 43 people have been killed and 133 still missing after massive landslides and floods ravaged the island country. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, there seems to be no respite from the prevailing heat wave conditions in north and central India. According to the Met Department, the severe heat wave conditions will gradually abate, but only from the next week. Now, several parts of Rajasthan, Saurashtra, Kutch and Gujarat, along with the parts of Madhya Pradesh, continue to reel under severe heat wave conditions after Met Department raised a red alert over the current conditions. Meanwhile, Palodi in Jodhpur district recorded 51 degrees Celsius on Thursday. It is the highest ever temperature recorded in the country. Ahmedabad also shattered a century-old record as the maximum temperature touched 48 degrees Celsius on Thursday. The sunstroke and related death toll reached 20, with a fresh case being confirmed in Jaipur, taking the number of alleged heat-related deaths to 192 in the entire country.
अभी फिलहाल पूरे गुजरात में हीट वेव टू सीवियर हीट वेव कंडीशन प्रिवेल हुआ है। काफ़ी सारे जगहों में 48 डिग्री सेल्सियस टेम्परेचर गई है और अभी फिलहाल टेम्परेचर अभी फॉल होने का कम होने का संभावना है। अभी अगले आज सिर्फ हमने 46 डिग्री सेल्सियस टेम्परेचर फोरकास्ट दी गई है और अगले 2 दिन के लिए हमारा हीट वेव वार्निंग है। उसके बाद ग्रेजुअली टेम्परेचर फॉल होगी और 2-4 दिन में टेम्परेचर नॉर्मल हो जाएगी।
Moving on to some other news, well, an anti-terrorism court in Pakistan today ruled that LET commander Zakir Rahman Lakhvi and 6 others will be individually charged for abetment to murder of each of the 166 people who died in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. While India has said that the frequent adjournments by the Pakistani court have ensured the case against Lakhvi does not progress, Pakistani officials have blamed India for refusing to send over witnesses. The Pakistani Foreign Ministry had written to India 3 months ago asking it to send all the 24 Indian witnesses to Pakistan. And on to the other big story. Well, India has dismissed China's argument that it needs to sign the Non-Proliferation Treaty to become a member of the elite group of the nuclear suppliers group. India argued that France was also included in the NST without signing the NPT. China has opposed India's bid for an NSG membership on the ground that India has not signed the NPT. The membership would bring India into the nuclear fold 41 years after it tested its first nuclear bomb. Recently, US had also said that India met the missile technology control regime requirements and it was ready for the NSG membership.
Even the NPT allows civil nuclear cooperation with non-NPT countries. If there is a connection, it is between the NSG and IAEA safeguards and with export controls. NSG members have to respect safeguards and export controls. Nuclear supplies have to be in accordance with the NSG guidelines. The NSG, as you know, is an ad hoc export control regime, and France, which was not an NPT member for some time, was a member of the NSG since it respected NSG's objectives.
And in some related news, now Pakistan said on Friday that it has formally applied for the membership of the Nuclear Suppliers Group or the NSG after China blocked India's entry into the 48-member elite group. The Foreign Office said that Pakistan's ambassador in Vienna applied for the membership through a letter addressed to the NSG chairman. In the letter, Pakistan said that the decision to seek participation in the export control regime reflects Pakistan's strong support for international efforts to prevent the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction and their means of discovery. It said that Pakistan attaches a high priority to nuclear safety and security. It has taken legal, regulatory as well as administrative measures to bring nuclear safety and security at par with international standards. Remember, the development comes as China harps on the need for consensus in the NSG, where it is reportedly pushing for Pakistan's entry, despite US's strong backing for India to join the elite body that seeks reducing the nuclear proliferation by controlling the export and the retransfer of materials. India, Pakistan, Israel and South Sudan are the 4 UN member states which have not signed the NPT, the international pact aimed at preventing the spread of nuclear weapons. And in the big international story, where leaked data has reportedly showed that flight MS-804 was on fire before it crashed, as smoke alarms were sounding for almost 3 minutes before it began its rapid descent. The new information suggests that the fire was on board and the EgyptAir airplane that is going to be more likely reason for a crash than a bomb, although experts have not ruled out the use of a flammable device. Now, there were emotional scenes in Cairo as relatives, friends and colleagues gathered to grieve for the victims of flight MS-804. Special Friday prayers were held at the Sultan Hassan Mosque in the Egyptian capital for people who were on board the doomed aircraft. Just under half of those on board were Egyptians. 15 French nationals were also in the aircraft when it came down, including a number of children. While Egyptian officials continue saying that they suspect terrorism, no group has yet claimed responsibility as the theories of the cause of the crash continue to circulate.
Il y a une coopération totale entre l'Égypte et la France, c'est très important. Il y avait 66 personnes à bord, dont 56 passagers, 12 nationalités. Demain, d'ailleurs, je vais réunir au Quai d'Orsay les représentants de toutes les familles, 12 nationalités, les ambassadeurs qui seront là.
And the Mexican government has approved the extradition of drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, which has been requested by the U.S. government last year. Now, if the extradition goes through, Guzman, who has escaped Mexican prisons twice and led authorities on a months-long search last year, will be transferred to a U.S. federal district court for the Western District of Texas. There, he will face charges of criminal association, organized crime, weapons possession, homicide, as well as money laundering, while other charges include smuggling and murder. The U.S. has guaranteed that Guzman will not face the death penalty. Remember, he was recaptured in the month of January, 6 months after escaping through a tunnel from his maximum security prison cell. He is currently jailed in a Mexican prison just outside Juarez in western Texas. However, Guzman's lawyer has said that he will file legal challenges to block the kingpin's approved extradition to the United States. He has 30 days to appeal, and even if it does proceed, it could be months before he's sent north.
Lo único que es quedar en claridad el hecho de que en este momento no se puede hacer una extradición express, fast track. Hay términos que tienen que agotarse, términos legales.
Meanwhile, a man who brandished a gun near the White House was shot on Friday while U.S. President Barack Obama was out golfing. The man was taken to a hospital in a critical condition. The Secret Service, which protects the president, briefly locked down the White House as a protection measure. Now, the shooting took place near South Lawn outside the executive mansion, which serves the home and the offices of the president. The Secret Service reported on Twitter that all the people under its protection were safe. Lafayette Square, which is a park and which is near the White House, also close to the tourists. The White House has seen, remember, a number of security incidents in the recent years. In the month of April, the Secret Service caught an intruder climbing over the White House fence.
So as we were walking through, I look over to my right and there's a man walking towards us. So I grabbed my boyfriend's hand and I said, "Do you see that gun right there?" And so he had a gun out just in plain sight. I mean, it wasn't even hidden, wasn't anything. So he kind of like walks in between, kind of around a group of crowds, walks in between a few cars. And then we see him like walking up to the gate. And at that same time, we saw the police officers come in and shoot him down.
Let's now get you all the sporting action. Here is the sports beat. Indian women's team settled for a bronze medal in the Uber Cup Badminton Championship in China on Friday. The Indian team suffered a 0-0 defeat at the hands of defending champions China in the semi-finals. India's campaign ended after Jwala Gutta and N. Sikki Reddy lost their opening doubles game. Earlier, Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu went down narrowly against their opponents in the two single matches. England have a stranglehold on the first test after forcing Sri Lanka to follow on 207 runs in arrears on Friday. James Anderson took a 5 for 16 and Stuart Broad 4 for 21 to dismiss the tourists for 91 on the second day. England had extended their overnight 171 for 5 to 298 all out, with Johnny Bairstow completing a fine second Test century before out for 140. Senior West Indies cricketers Chris Gayle, Dwayne Bravo and Darren Sammy have lashed out at the country's selectors for ignoring them for next month's ODI Tri-Series involving Australia and South Africa. The trio was part of the World T20 winning team, and the exclusion from the ODI squad did not go down well with the seniors. The players who returned to the side are Kieron Pollard and Sunil Narine. Six-time Olympic champion Usain Bolt ran a season's best 9.98 seconds in winning the men's 100 meters at the Golden Spike meeting in the Czech Republic on Friday. In his first European outing of the year, the Jamaican recovered from a slow start to win with ease. The Ramon Jalitza 0.23 seconds behind in second. Bolt clocked 10.05 seconds in his only other 100 meters of the season. Celtic have appointed Brendan Rodgers as their new manager. The former Liverpool boss has signed a 12-month rolling contract to replace Ronnie Deala, who departed the Scottish champions at the end of the season. Now, Rodgers left Liverpool in October after more than 3 years in charge. That's all in this edition of news. Thanks for your time.